Hello, this is Soma in the Sabitur kitchen. We are about to make some luxurious face creams, and I have a few assistants in the backdrop, Natalie and Denise, helping me out. Today's face cream is going to have the backdrop of jojoba oil and a few carriers that I haven't quite determined yet, and then also the hydrosol of helichrysum with rose. So I'm going to actually come over here while I'm waiting for this pan to warm up. I have a double boiler going on right now, and inside the double boiler is, of course, water here. When this is getting warm, I'm going to chop up my wax, which I have measured out, which is about 15 grams. The recipe that we're going to be using is 15 grams of beeswax, which is coming from my brother's farm in Minnesota. It will be melted in about 3/4 of a cup, or 180 milliliters of a carrier oil, and we're going to do probably about 150 of jojoba, and then the other 30 will be a mix of borage, carrot, tamanu, evening primrose, and sea buckthorn. And the sea buckthorn will give the cream a little bit of a tint, and when you put it on your face, it will almost look yellowy or orangey, and then it will soften and blend with your skin. And then it will be blended into the blender here in the hydrosol. And the hydrosol, as I said today, will be helichrysum and rose. During the summertime, I always do a rose helichrysum or a rose hydrosol. And often in the wintertime, I will use more of a helichrysum because it is more repairing. I'm taking my wax that was measured out exactly at 14 grams. It was 15 grams. And I'm going to just easily show you how to cut it up. I'm just using a regular serrated butter knife or bread knife, putting it into a couple of different long strips. And the smaller it is, the quicker it will melt. Taking those pieces, putting them into the pan. Please let me know if you have any questions when you're watching this in review. Love to answer questions. So I have the carrier oil. So far, there's about 150 milliliters of the jojoba oil. Look how rich and yummy and good that jojoba oil looks. If you have jojoba oil and it's really, really pale, buy mine instead. So I'm going to top it off and bring those over here. And I'm going to add in the borage. And I'm just kind of doing it as I always make my creams. It's kind of a everything but the kitchen sink sort of thing. I just bring in whatever I've got in the backdrop. So let's see here. I'll take the borage and I'll put in about 3 milliliters, 5 milliliters. Put in evening primrose. And all of these oils you can buy in 2 ounce or larger on my website. Take some carrot oil. I'm at about 175 mark. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm almost at 200, so I'm going to have to put in a little bit more wax because last time I ended up being a little bit heavy on the oil, and I'm kind of doing that again. So maybe 3 grams of wax. Here's the sea buckthorn. I'm going to add in just a tiny bit. Wow, brilliant red color. Did you see what just happened? That's the sea buckthorn. Isn't that kind of cool? And just a little bit more, because we can. Beautiful. That's some extra wax. Melting that. Adding in the carrier oil. Oh, I'm so excited about that red sea buckthorn. Sea buckthorn oil is a hard oil to get, and I don't standardly sell it on my website. I'm trying to find a better source. That was the last of what I had, and soon I'm sure I'll have another because that's the way it goes. So I don't know if you can see what's happening here. This is melting in beautifully. It is so hot and it's melting so quickly that I'm going to turn my stove off the water completely boiled. Underneath, the stove will stay hot, the pan will stay warm. So I put in about 200 milliliters of carrier oil. And then I put in, did you measure it, Natalie? How much extra of the 3 grams of the wax? So an extra 3 grams of the wax compared to the original 15. Oops, I just splattered a little bit. It almost looks like little chunked up pieces of butter. Can you see that? There's very minimal smell. Little tip, when you're washing out containers of oil, the first thing to do is to take a soap and pour that in. So I would put, I want to wash that. Plain dish soap first. Pour it in. Take my fingers, smear it around, make a little paste. If I had a really heavy oil, like a myrrh or something really thick, I could put a little bit of rubbing alcohol or vinegar in here. But I can now just kind of let that sit for a minute because I'm not going to get around to it, or I could go rinse it off right now. If you put the water in first, water and oil are hydrophobic, or the oils are hydrophobic, so it will repel that. So I'll set that on the side. Come back to it when I'm ready to clean up. And now we have beautifully melted. Isn't that delicious? Like food. It really does look like food in the end when we're melting this off and adding everything in. We keep spinning. So I'm going to move this up. You can see now the blender, and there's Denise in the background. So we have our carrier oil. We don't want it to cool too quickly because if it does, it will start to harden because of the wax being in there. I have not put in any of my precious oils. Natalie, would you grab the rose Virginia? So the precious oils will melt off very, very quickly. The precious oils also will stick to the inside of the container. The precious oils are the oils that I jokingly say are $1 to $3 per drop. They're not really that expensive. But the helichrysum, sandalwood, frankincense, rose, otto, neroli, they are very pricey oils. And when you are putting them in, I like to put them in the jars at the last minute, which I haven't prepped either. So here I am with my melted waxy ingredient. And then I have hydrosol. And what Natalie did is she pre-poured this for me. We have 1 cup, which is equivalent to 236 milliliters. And in the wintertime, I'm more likely to use helichrysum. In the summertime, I'm more likely to use rose. Rose will be softer on the skin. It will be more soothing, whereas in the wintertime, I'm wanting to now regenerate because I'm not out in the sun as much. To use the helichrysum in the middle of the summer, you're doing the damage as it's happening, so I would rather just nourish the skin while it's happening. So here's my hydrosol. Now, what is the hydrosol? The hydrosol is the liquid that comes in the first portion of the condensation channel when you're steam distilling. So you put your plant material into some form of your contraption, and then you have water underneath it, not touching the plant. If the water touches the plant, then that's a hydrodistillation. But if the water sits underneath it, then the steam that rises out goes through a tube. You put the tube through a cooling channel, condensation channel, and the liquid starts to pour out. And the first liquid that comes is the hydrosol. So it has oil and water in it. And then you'll start to see a very soft layer on top forming. And for about every liter of hydrosol liquid you get about 1 gram of essential oil. And it's the oil that we use that has the more intense healing properties that then we'll put into the face cream. But if you only had water here, I don't have a communication channel between the oil and the water. So I use the hydrosol, and then there's a little of each in that product, and then they can communicate to one another. So I've let this cool a little bit, which is good. Pouring it into my blender. The best blenders in the world for this are the crazy old-fashioned Osterizer blender. I have a Cuisinart. I have all sorts of different blenders that I make for different types of food. Not good for the face creams. So blenders in. Put in my mixture. It would be best for me to wash that or put soap on that as it's warm right now. I'm going to pour in a tiny bit of the hydrosol. See how that starts to emulsify immediately because it's getting cool? Turn around. This happened last time. You're hoping that wasn't I want to hit stop because I want you to see what's happening. Would you hold the camera for us? This is really kind of cool. So, I'm going to take the top off. On the outside, but as I flip the sides, you can see how that cream is mixing. Pretty cool. You want to eat it, don't you? I know you do. And now it's getting thick because it's getting cooler. Perfect. And I'll stop it. So let's see. Where's a good place for this? Okay, there is some hydrosol left. I would rather have less hydrosol in because it will get too runny. And I've had a tendency recently of making the creams more on the runny side because last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, I made a batch and it was like pure wax. And we liked it because we had a really windy spring. So it's kind of nice to have that waxy cream. But there is still a little bit of hydrosol left that for whatever reason, instinctively, I didn't want to pour in here. I'll end up probably making a face spray or something for myself or for a client because I would never waste it. See how runny it is? It's runny because it's still cool or it's still warm. And that's why I made the mistake before of then continuing to add more wax over and over again. So now what I'm going to do is I have the Rose Regenerative, and I'm going to blend this again. I have the Rose Regenerative blend that I absolutely love. It has the oils of rose hip seed, which I didn't put in this one. I usually use rose hip seed as a carrier too. Rose hip seed, helichrysum, carrot seed, frankincense, lemon, rose absolute, neroli, petitgrain, which is a form of neroli, cistus, which is a rock rose, rose otto. Now, using lemon is a little bit tricky to say that online because lemon is actually photosensitive. Lemon will actually help to even skin tone, so it's used for that purpose, but it's, as you can tell, in the midst of a whole lot of other products. So never put lemon directly into your skincare, please. Or if you do, don't say that I said you could do it. A few drops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So there's about 1.5 milliliters of that blend. I'm going to mix this up again. Actually, before I'm going to actually add in a tiny bit of frankincense carteri. Now, there's a frankincense serrata, a carteri, a sacra, a freriana. They're all used for different purposes. The freriana is used mostly for dental hygiene. The sacra is used most for meditation. The serrata blend is used most for Parkinson's patients, mental health patients, and then the carteri is used for skin care, skin cancer patients. And then when they were injecting carteri into the horse tumors, the tumors were shrinking. So that was pretty cool. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put in about 2 milliliters of frankincense and about a half a milliliter of helichrysum, because now we're getting into the rare oils. I'm not going to put in any rose in here. So I'm mixing it up, getting the sides. Blend it one more time. Ooh, I can smell that frankincense, can you? That's good. I'm not a big fan of the way helichrysum smells, not because it smells bad, it just kind of smells plain. And for all intents and purposes, we are done. So for all intents and purposes, we are done here. And what we're going to do is now pour into a jar. As I pour into this jar, super soft, super yummy. I'm going to stop about a third the way through, or maybe half. And as I stop, Natalie has oils that she put in her pocket. We're back out. Because it's winter time, you have to keep your rose autos in your pocket. Otherwise, they harden because it's that waxy substance that comes from the flower. I know, interesting, huh? So, let's see here. Maybe. 1, 2, 3. That was rose auto. I'm going to put in a tiny bit of neroli. 1, 2, 3. And this jar is going to be for my friend Denise. So she's in my age, maybe just a little older, but you'd never know. Point being is that we have drier skin, and so I'm going to put extra skin healing oils. Now, if it were for my assistant Natalie, who's way younger than us both, then I would put something that was more rejuvenating and for younger skin. But Denise is going to get the skin repair because we both ride motorcycles. We like to be out in the wind. And we both were out in the sun a lot. So I'm going to add in a little extra frankincense. And she's getting like the deluxe version here. But the point being is that I would never put all of that into this container because it won't go into the jar. Now I'm going to pour in, top that off. And normally I'd be weighing this out. But again, I'm making this for my friend who's here visiting. So she's getting kind of the deluxe one. Yours will be measured, sorry. But then you can tell me if you wanted the acne treatment, then I would put that blend in. If you wanted more of the rose regenerative, then I could put in more of that. I go heavy with the helichrysum and the rose otto and the frankincense just because that's my background. And I did that for Denise just because I know her. So you are always able to customize your face creams. We love to do that at Savvy Tour. When I go ahead and I pour the row of face creams, I'm just going to pour them all into these jars, and then I won't top off your final oil until you make that order and tell me whether or not you want anti-aging or acne treatment. And then I will mix this up again because it's still warm. I could not do this if this started to get too cool because it will separate. But right now I can mix this all up it still will be nice and wonderful. And then I could put it in the refrigerator, leave it out, or put it in the refrigerator to quickly cool it, and it will kind of harden as a base. And literally, boom, face cream on. And even if I didn't put those oils in, I could put this on, I could turn this into a body cream and put your arm out. Yeah, hand it up. Wonderful. So it is kind of yellowy on, and then as soon as you rub it in, is yes. Yeah. You can totally feel it. It's wonderful. Thank you. Please send me a message if you have any questions. Order your face creams. I use also my morning regime is to wash my face with just your basic water, and then we'll just pretend like this is my Soma's the face spritz. But then water only on my face, get out of the shower, spray it with the hydrosol, the face spritz, wait just a moment or two, then take the face cream, put that on, décolleté, neck, you're good. Oh, code. So the magic code is, I watched it. You say I watched it, I'm gonna give you 20% off the combination of face cream and face spritz. All right.